everyone, my name's Amanda and I'm the Fun Size Reader, and it is officially the end of 2021, which means we have to rank top books of 2021. Now, I normally have a really hard time ranking books, and this list was no different. I read 57 books this year, which was more than my goal. My goal was to read a book a week, which was 52. So that was a win for me. But it's really hard to kind of look back at the whole year and say, I like this one better than this one. Like, that's really difficult for me to do. But I know people love to know, like, what were your top books? What did you love the most? What's your number one? So I really tried hard to do it. I rate a lot of books on feeling and how they made me feel. So I'm gonna try to give that to you right now, along with like a little short blurb about what the book's about, if you haven't already seen my review videos for it. So here we go. Number 10 is a author duo. So it's two people that wrote this book that I absolutely love. I've loved all of their books that I've read. And they have two coming out in 2022, and I'm so excited for both of them. So my number 10 book on my top 10 of 2021 is What's Not to Love by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. And I love this book because it was enemies to lovers YA with kind of a school competition. But the better part about this book was that if you know anything about the authors, it basically is their love story. So they were competitive in school, they were best friends in high school, and they kind of grew into a relationship after that. And here they are now writing books together. I freaking loved this book. It was such a perfect YA romance read, so quick. Definitely add it to your TBR if you don't have it already. Number 9 is also a author duo. So it's two women that write these books, Christina and Lauren, and they come together to make Christina Lauren. And this one I loved because it was based in science, kind of enemies to lovers, but really just fun and about love, and has that science aspect in it. And it was just overall like really a great read. Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. Like I've said in previous videos, the one thing is that it's hardback and that drives me crazy. But other than that, this was an amazing book. It was one of my favorite rom-coms that they wrote, and I've read a lot of their books. So add this one to your list. Coming in at number 8 is another YA book. This one is like, it's hard because when I was thinking about all the fantasies, like for fantasy, it ranks really high up there for me. But with everything combined, it kind of dropped to the bottom of my top 10, but not bad. Like, still really good. I still freaking love this book, and it deserved all the 5 stars that I gave it. So at number 8, we have Defy the Night by Brigid Kemmerer. And this is a fantasy world, but it's actually a pandemic. So this one was kind of fun to read because it wasn't about our own pandemic. So it took you out of the world, but still was really relatable to what was going on, and like timing was perfect. It just needed to be in the top 20 or 10 of 2021. So Defy the Night by Brigid Kemmerer. I also really liked the little romance that was sprinkled in this one. And it is my favorite of her books so far. At number 7 is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I don't have a physical copy of it yet. I'm sorry, I keep flashing this up on the side. But I loved this book so much. It is by Mariana Zapata. It's on Kindle Unlimited if you have KU. And it is a football romance with a slow burn. But trust me, it's so worth it. I did not want this book to end, and I am going to be buying my copy soon. Number 6 is pretty much my only thriller that made it on this list. I did not read that many like mystery thriller books this year, but this one was by far my favorite. It left me stunned at the end. I had no idea what actually happened versus what didn't happen. And even when I talked to my friends who read it after the fact, it made me think something totally different. So that is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. It is absolutely my favorite book that he has written, and I've read all of his books so far. This one is literally, it's Ted Bundy vibes. That's what it's just what it reminds me of. He's very, very into old films, and that's kind of sprinkled throughout the whole thing. But if you want some suspense, you want some OMG, what is happening, you want to be left at the end like you don't know what you just read, definitely pick this one up. Coming in at number 5 is another YA, and this one just like totally took me by surprise. So when I saw this cover, I thought it was a fantasy book, and then I started reading it and realized that it had nothing to do with fantasy. And I've seen a lot of people talk about this one on Bookstagram, but I just was like, I need to read it because the second one's coming. And I flew through the second one, and now I'm having to wait for the third. And that is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I don't know how she created, I like Mean Girls to that a minute, created this perfect book. Like this book, I didn't figure out a thing. It is crazy how much mystery is in here. It's kind of thrilling. You really cannot guess the twists and the turns. I don't know how she did it, but I'm envious of her writing. So The Inheritance Games, definitely pick this one out. I really hope they make this into a kick-ass movie series because that would be amazing. Coming in at number 4 is Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez, and I love Abby's books. This one just solidified my love for her and my she's an auto-buy author for me, for sure. This one is a great book if you want to like feel things, because she not only mixes the rom-com part of it, like truly it's a rom-com because you're laughing because Abby's just hilarious, but also she always mixes like serious elements in it as well. So the serious part of why they can't be together and why they don't want relationships mixed in with the smutty and the sexy and the funny. So Life's Too Short, but read her other 2 books first before you read this one. Just saying. Number 3 is actually another rom-com. I would say that Abby's is funnier. It's more of like the rom-com. This is more of like also romance, kind of funny, but very, very steamy. And that is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This was just like a joyous read. It was grumpy sunshine, amazingness. Like the mixture of Schitt's Creek plus Deadliest Catch was perfection. And so you cannot miss out on this one, especially because book 2 is going to be coming soon. All right, number 2 is The Love Hypothesis. You guys, like, how could I not put this right at the top of my favorite books of 2021? I would read this book again and again, and I want it to be a movie. I need to be able to see it. Like, I want the angst and the miscommunication and the grumpy shun. Like, I want that on screen, on my TV, so I can watch it all the time. I loved this book. Favorite rom-com of the year. So excited to be seeing everything that Allie's putting out, and I cannot wait to read more of her books. But The Love Hypothesis, steaminess, romance, science, it's so good. It is so good. One of my favorites of all time. And finally, my favorite book of 2021. This was hard. I mean, hard but not hard because it was like obviously my favorite one. But trying to choose between The Love Hypothesis and this one was a little bit difficult. I picked The Shadow in the Ember as my number 1 book of 2021 just because I had the biggest book hangover after this book. Like, I could not read anything else. I didn't want this to be over. I want the second one like 3 weeks ago or, months ago when I finished this. It was my favorite. I loved the romance. I loved that it was not as smutty as From Blood and Ash, but it was still enough that it fit with the storyline. I thought it was done so well. And it's my favorite of her books so far, of the ones that I've read. I know she's written a million and I haven't read them all, but of what I've read so far, this is my favorite. Niktos is my 2021 book boyfriend. Adam, close second from Love Hypothesis. But Niktos is where it's at right now. And I just cannot wait for this world to continue and to see where this goes. definitely my favorite. Please, I hope you all read this one because I need more people to love it. All right, so that's my list of my top 10 books from 2021. It was really hard to try to rank all of them, but to be honest with you, I'm really, really proud that I read 57 books this year. Like, it's crazy to think that that's what I read. It was a different year for me. There was a lot of busyness, a lot of life changes, and so I know it's a significantly less number than what I read last year, but I'm very, very proud of it. So if there's any of you that are in a similar situation to me, you didn't maybe read as much as you wanted to, you maybe feel, down because you're looking at all of these other people who read hundreds and hundreds, like, don't compare yourselves. Don't. I don't. Be proud of what you did. Own it. Like, love it. All that matters is that we enjoyed the time that we spent reading and we have this fabulous book community to talk about everything with. So I'm proud of you and I'm so excited to read with y'all next year in 2022. Thanks for chatting with me about my top 10 reads of 2021. Let me know what you think below. Let me know what your top reads were. I'm curious to see if we have any that were the same. Let me know if you read things that I recommended to you. I really want to know if people like what I recommend. So leave me a comment below. If you want to chat more, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at The Fun Size Reader. See you guys next year.